smelled like pipe tobacco. The secretary looked up at Rob when he walked in. "Go right on back," she said, nodding her big blonde head of hair. "He's waiting for you." "Rob," said Mr. Filmer, when Rob stepped into his office. "Yes, sir," said Rob. "Have a seat," Mr. Filmer said, waving his hand at the orange plastic chair in front of his desk. Rob sat down. Mr. Filmer cleared his throat. He patted the piece of hair that was combed over his bald head. He cleared his throat again. "Rob, we're a bit worried," he finally said. Rob nodded. This was how Mr. Filmer began all his talks with Rob. He was always worried that Rob did not interact with other students, worried that he did not communicate, worried that he wasn't doing well in any way at school. "It's about your, legs." "Yes, your legs. Have you been putting that medicine on them?" "Yes, sir," said Rob. He didn't look at Mr. Filmer. He stared instead at the paneled wall behind the principal's head. It was covered with an astonishing array of framed pieces of paper, certificates and diplomas and thank you letters. "May I, look?" asked Mr. Filmer. He got up from his chair and came halfway around his desk and stared at Rob's legs. "Well, sir," he said after a minute. He went back behind his desk and sat down. He folded his hands together and cracked his knuckles. He cleared his throat. "Here's the situation, Rob. Some of the parents, I won't mention any names, are worried that what you've got there might be contagious. Contagious, meaning something that the other students could possibly catch." Mr. Filmer cleared his throat again. He stared at Rob. "Tell me about the truth, son," he said. "Have you been using that medicine you told me about? The stuff that doctor in Jacksonville gave you. Have you been putting that on?" "Yes, sir," said Rob. "Well," said Mr. Filmer, "let me tell you what I think. Let me be upfront and honest with you. I think it might be a good idea if we had you stay home for a few days. What we'll do is just give that old medicine more of a chance to kick in. Let it start working its magic on you, and then we'll have you come back to school when your legs have cleared up. What do you think about that plan?" Rob stared down at his legs. He felt the picture of the tiger burning in his pocket. He concentrated on keeping his heart from sinking out loud with joy. "Yes, sir," he said slowly. "That would be all right." "That's right," said Mr. Filmer. "I thought you would think it's a good plan. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just write your parents, I mean your father, a note and tell him what's what. He can give me a call if he wants. We can talk about it." "Yes, sir," said Rob again. He kept his head down. He was afraid to look up. Mr. Filmer cleared his throat and scratched his head and adjusted his piece of hair, and then he started to write. When he was done, he handed the note to Rob. Rob took it, and when he was outside the principal's office, he folded the piece of paper up carefully and put it in his back pocket with the drawing of the tiger. And then, finally, he smiled. He smiled because he knew something Mr. Filmer did not know. He knew that his legs would never clear up. He was free. his heart light, buoyed by the knowledge that he would never have to come back. At lunch he sat out on the benches in the breezeway. He did not go into the lunchroom. Norton and Billy Threemonger were there. And nothing had tasted good to him since his mother died, especially not the food at the school. It was worse than the food his father tried to cook. He sat on the bench and unfolded his drawing of the tiger, and his fingers itched to start making it in wood. He was sitting like that, swinging his legs, studying the drawing, when he heard shouting and the high-pitched buzz of excitement, like crickets, that the kids made when something was happening. He stayed where he was. In a minute, the faded red double doors of the lunchroom swung open, and Sistine Bailey came marching through them. Her head held high. Behind her was a whole group of kids, and just when Sistine noticed Rob sitting there on the bench, one of the kids threw something at her. Rob couldn't tell what, but it hit her, whatever it was. Run, he wanted to yell at her. Hurry up and run. But he didn't say anything. He knew better than to say anything. He just sat and stared at Sistine, with his mouth open, and she stared back at him. Then she turned and walked back into the group of kids, like somebody walking into deep water. Okay, so, I still have no idea how to pronounce this girl's name. It might be Sistine. I have no idea, so, if it bothers you that I'm pronouncing a word wrong or something, I am sorry about that. Just, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. But I'll go for Sistine right now. And suddenly, she began swinging with her fists. She was kicking, she was twirling. Then the group of kids closed in around her, and she seemed to disappear. Rob stood up so that he could see her better. He caught sight of her pink dress. It looked all crumpled, like a wadded up tissue. He saw her arms still going like mad. Hey, he shouted, not meaning to. Hey, he shouted again louder. He moved closer, the drawing of the tiger still in his hand. Leave was all that truly mattered to him. A note that proved that he would never have to come back. Chapter 7. It turned out to be an extraordinary day in almost every possible way. It started with fighting the tiger and ended with Steam Bailey sitting down next to him on the bus on the way home from school. Her dress was torn, mud-dyed. There was a scrape down her right arm and her hair stuck out in 100 different directions. She sat down in the empty seat beside him and stared at him with her black eyes. There isn't any place else to sit, she said to him. This is the last empty seat. Rob shrugged. It's not like I want to sit here, she said. Okay, said Rob. He shrugged his shoulders again. He hoped that she wasn't going to thank him for saving her. What's your name? She demanded. Rob Horton. He told her. Well, let me tell you something, Rob. Horton. It's Horton. You shouldn't run. That's what they want you to do. Run. Rob stared at her with his mouth open. She stared back. I need it here, she said, looking away from him. Her voice even deeper than before. This is a stupid hick town with stupid hick teachers. Nobody in the whole school even knows what the Sistine Chapel is. Okay, sorry again. I think it is actually pronounced Sistine. I'm having such a hard time pronouncing her name. So, from now on, I'll call her Sistine. Because I think that's how you pronounce it. I know, said Rob. I know what the Sistine Chapel is. Immediately, he regretted saying it. It was his policy not to say things, but it was a policy he was having a hard time maintaining around Sistine. I bet, Sistine sneered at him. I bet you know. It's a big picture of God making the world, he said. Sistine stared at him hard. She narrowed her small eyes until they almost disappeared. It's in Italy, said Rob. The pictures are painted on the ceiling. They're frescoes. It was as if a magician had cast a spell over him. He opened his mouth and the words fell out. Sorry, my dad called. If you hear someone calling out Anya, that would probably be either my mom or dad. Okay. He opened his mouth and the words fell out, one on top of the other, like gold coins. He couldn't stop talking. I don't got to go to school on account of my legs. I got a note that says so, Mr. Filmer. He's the principal. He says the parents are worried that what I got is contagious. That means that other kids could catch it. I know what contagious means, Sistine said. She looked at his legs, and then she did something truly astounding. She closed her eyes and reached out her left hand and placed it on top of Rob's right leg. Please let me catch it, she whispered. You won't, said Rob, surprised at her hand how small it was now warm, and made him think for a minute of his mother's hand, tiny and soft. He stopped that thought. It ain't contagious, he told her. Please let me catch it, Sistine whispered again, ignoring him, keeping her hand on his leg. Please let me catch it so I won't have to go to school. It ain't a disease, said Rob. It's just me. Shut up, Sistine said. She sat up very straight, her lips moved. The other kids shouted things like his mother or the tiger. He was glad, almost, that Norton and Billy were there to beat him into silence. Okay, I'm gonna stop